I want to talk about the project today. So this actually really what I am doing is working on using up my scrap silver. So I have a whole bunch of scrap silver. I'm actually going to show you how I do bezels with the scrap silver. I know there's a lot of different techniques for fusing, but I just want to show you the way that I do this. So here, I've made a freeform bezel. It really looks beautiful when you're using beautiful crystals and really polished stones. You can get away with this kind of real organic type of look with your, with your stone. So it's kind of cool. I also did on the ring band too. This is really makes your ring band a nice heavy duty, sturdy, it's like, I always like a nice heavy ring band. It helps balance my ring, keeps it on my finger as I move it around. And this one too is still an adjustable. I love these adjustables. As you can see here, I just solved it by leaving this end just a little bit open. We'll give you some negative space there. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this. This ring band here uses a lot of scrap, a lot of bezel scrap, and these are all scrap in here. The granulation. I know I've showed the flattened granulation. I might show you something there too. It's just really using up scrap. Like when you're, this month is really about joy. It's about filling your heart and soul. And what you really have to do is gather up the old and get rid of it so you can bring in the new, right? Isn't that always what we're doing, is getting rid of the old, bringing in the new? So this is a way that we can get rid of some of this scrap that's sitting around until silver goes up again to $42 an ounce. That's what I'm waiting for. I have a lot of scrap, and I remember there's been a couple of periods of time in my lifetime where silver has gotten up to $42 an ounce. So in the meantime, I'm going to show you some beautiful ideas for using up your scrap. It's really good as we get into spring and use up old ideas so we can flourish and grow our new. So, okay, you guys, this has to do with fusing sterling silver, and I'm going to show you just fusing sterling silver just way past the point of recognition to make the bezel wire that we need. And then I'll show you maybe putting some granulation on, making the round balls of granulation, but also fusing in a beautiful way on how you need to fuse if you're serious about fusing. Make sense? Like if you really just want to use it as a solder and not collapse everything. So there's two different techniques that you're going to see here today, okay? And it's all part of this refreshing renewal. Okay, here we go. Okay, guys, how exciting is this? I better show the beautiful ring. Nice and plain and white. So when you're fusing, it's really important to use a board that is super hot. I actually, especially for the second, this first technique, it's actually, I'm just showing you making bezel wire, but this charcoal block is really nice. If you're looking to get your work super hot, this is a beautiful, beautiful idea to use, and I'll be using that later on. I'm gonna get right onto this board because it's big and I could build a long stem of bezel wire. Okay, so the first thing I wanna say is when you're building, you wanna grab, to make an interesting bezel wire, I'm just grabbing all kinds of scraps here, that I just want to get rid of, that's sitting around. And I'm going to cut them nice and long because it's not like I want something super thick. So I'm just going to cut and just kind of arrange. Sometimes it's nice with a piece like that. We're going to do this. Here's a piece of wire that didn't quite make it. This one could be pretty cool on here. Get something like this, lay it on. I'm really not worried about cleaning up my metal. I'm going to spray it really good. This I'm overheating, so it's not really anything glamorous or something. Now this is going to be long enough, and I can always add as I go. So, this I'm not really, this is all sterling silver. There's no fine silver in here. I just kind of piece together. Sometimes I like these little skinny areas. I really like these little skinny areas where they're a nice surprise. I just built a piece yesterday that really I'm in love with too. Let me find that piece. I think I had it. Well, I'll show it to you in the end. So, what I'm gonna do, this is my borax, my flux. This is really, you know, this is important. We all use this when we're soldering. I'm just gonna get this sprayed up nice and good, and that really is a secret of, you know, being able to get this all to fuse and merge. And I like using either, I'll use my, you know, just my soldering pick, or I'll use pliers just to push things together in different ways that I need to. Okay, now, okay, I like the way it's laid out. We'll see. You know, you can always scrap everything again. That's a nice thing. I'm gonna turn my torch super hot. You know, I really kind of need this hot. And I'm just gonna give it an overall. And this I'm literally over melting. So I do want my board to be hot. So I'm gonna get my board under here. There we go. Ooh, nice little ending. So I could squeeze it into anything that I want to. I like to use some of this. Okay. Oh, that's nice. Too much of a negative space? I think so. See if we can get something here fused. There we go. Nice. So, you know, if I decide which side's going to be up, I really don't want two sides that have protrusion. So I need to bring this up and over. Push it on over. Ooh, love this little skinny area there. Once it cools, I should be able to control, you know, these areas a lot better. And I could even hammer it down, get things exact, you know, get things the way I want it. I love the way it looks with gems. And man, I love working with gems, as you guys know. See if I can get this fused on. There we go. Okay. There is my beautiful bezel wire. It's gonna look good. Here's how it is on here. Skinny areas, long areas. And I'm gonna let this cool and I'll pickle it. I'll show you how I'm gonna hammer it down and really shape this exactly the way I want it to be shaped. Okay, here's my two pieces. This is actually one that I made yesterday that I love. I love these little skinny areas in here. I think you guys can see it. That's just with a little bit of wire in there. You know, it's when you use just a big variety of pieces. So with this one, I want to decide, you know, which way I'm going to sit down on the bezel, and I have a triangle here and a triangle here. So what I need to do is remove probably this right here. So I'm either going to be able to cut this off, see if I can, and I guess I don't have to be too neat about it, or I just grind it off on my grinder. So then I'm going to decide, it won't matter as much for the ring band, but for this, if I'm going to make a bezel wire, you know, you want to make sure one side, you don't have to worry about it sitting too flat, but you can see how beautiful that's sitting on the edge. Here's the piece I just made. I really love this. This is going to be beautiful for the ring band, but maybe, you see how it came apart right there? Well, if it comes apart, you just spray it up again. Let me get this sprayed. And then I decided just to try to use a little skinny piece of wire. I think it's going to be kind of cool. So let me see if I can get this to work and just bind the whole thing together over here. So you just redo, you know, you can go in, take it apart, redo it again, and get my pliers. You just want to pull it. You don't want too much tension over in this area. I can do it here. And, you know, again, with this brick, I can get this nice and hot. So first of all, I'm going to heat up around heat up my charcoal block, you know, so I don't have to alter what the top of this looks like too much. And just get this fused in here. There we go. Get these ends. I have to heat up a little bit here. Oop. One of mine is broken, but that's okay. I think I have enough here. Okay, I want to get this melted here. Fused, let's call it fused, not melted, right? There we go. There, kind of interesting. I'll pickle that again. I really want to let this cool off here. This side should be strong enough. Look at that. It's going to look beautiful. Negative, positive space, and that's what I always talk about. So I'm going to pickle this one. Okay. So now I'm talking about using this piece, and I'm going to move this over for a little bit. Yeah, you guys can see this area here. Let me cool this. It's a little bit warm from the last. Okay. So I actually have a stone bezel made. This is going to be my stone. So as you guys can see with this piece here, is that I actually ended up cutting out the back so that, you know, when you're using gems, you really want to make sure these shine through nice and bright. So I cut out the back, especially for me, I always like the balance of, you know, a nice, clean, beautiful, shiny stone with some riffraff. But you can see, I actually have a serrated bezel in here. I have a serrated bezel, so I did the same thing here. Now my bezel is up a little bit higher than normal, so, you know, because I wanted just a simple bezel band, when I cut out the back of this stone, the back of my bezel, part of this will be able to be relieved and break through the back end, so I can actually use a little bit more shallow of a bezel band, if that makes sense. You know, otherwise it's like when it's sitting flat, it's up a little too high, so, you know, the serration is hard to get over the sides, but cutting out the back solves your problem. Okay, I'm going to put my gem to the side and pull this in, and there's going to be what really holds my stone. But in the meantime, I want to work with this very gently. I know it's annealed because I just fired it. And this one, you know, I love this kind of layover. If I want to, I can do any type of grinding on here. I love this little area here. So I'm going to bring this across the top and bend it right here, or maybe against the side. Take a little bend. See how this one has to be kind of a little bit squared off. Ooh, it's gonna look good. I don't have to butt it right up against here. And then it looks like my next bend is gonna be right about here. And if you have to, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press this down, you know, to bend these ends on here. You could actually bend just by leaning it over. I think I'm gonna bend right here though. That's nice. I love these little negative, positive areas. Ooh, looking good. This will be nice. I've got things up in the air. This is going to give me a lot of dimension. There we go. I want to make sure I don't break it. Ooh, I'm loving this. If I want to get it closer, I just would make my bend closer. So you just have to kind of play around with ideas like this. It's spring, so don't mind my voice. You know, everybody has a little bit of a, oh, okay, that's okay. Because now I can redesign it another way. You know, if that breaks, I love it. I can actually just think about doing this end, maybe do a wrap around over here. I can come in and do a wrap around right here. Now I'm gonna do it smaller. Played with that idea and I don't think so. Already my hands are dirty, geez. Okay. I'm going to do a bend right here. This is scrap metal as bezel. I love it. Okay. So let's see where we're at. Ooh, nice. Okay. So I'm thinking though I don't need a piece of this on here. Although I kind of like this bezel better. Let me see. Just really a lot of playing. See what you like best. I'm liking that. Okay. Okay, let me bend it. Really, I have to bend it on my bench to get it bent. I always like my bezels a little bit bigger because I might add things afterwards. Ooh, is that nice, guys? Or what? Okay, now what part of this? I do love this negative space right here. Let's see if I need this whole piece. I might be able to do. Do I like that piece? Do I like this piece? Let me see if I can do something here. Okay. Kind of do like this piece. Okay, I'm getting closer. Ooh, that is so pretty too. Okay, so let's see. Maybe I might. Means I have to change this up. Okay. All right, so maybe it's this. Maybe I cut off this part here. I don't need it so clunky over at this end. So if I do cut this off, I might use, and sometimes it's hard, I might have to use my shears for this. I'm gonna go over and grab my shears. Okay, I'm super happy. Here's the one that I made with you guys. I really like the ends on here. You know, I really like the way this is looking. I'm gonna save this for the ring band, and I'll show you the ring band in the end. You can see all the different uneven areas. So here's my bezel. I'm really excited about it. You know what, there's even 3/4 of it where it's not covered, but I think it's gonna look pretty cool. You know, we don't have to have a bezel that goes all the way around. So keep that in mind. Everything has the borax on it. Nice. Okay, I'm gonna do another one, get it heated up, and then I'll get out my, get my medium solder put inside here. I'm gonna start on the inside and see what I could pull to the outside, and we'll see how that works. So here, I'm just getting some medium solder on here and chips. I'm just gonna throw some in the middle. Ooh, that's a big piece. We don't need those big pieces. I'm gonna put on an extra amount. Okay. Make sure this is all into the sides. We don't want a mess in here. We want it to be nice and clean. And my hopes are, which should happen, just like we do a lot of our work, is the solder should pull to the outside. And if it doesn't, I'll just, you know, fix some up around there too. So we'll see. This is the way I get started. Sometimes I go in slow. Whoa, we had it so hot before. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start here, dry it off. Okay, there we go. Get up and under, get my screen heated, get as much. The whole bezel doesn't have to be tacked down. I want to make sure I get certain corners tacked down really well, but I don't have to worry about, you know, the whole outside bezel getting tacked down. It really is not really a possibility because it's so uneven, you know, but at least I have this nice little secure area inside that fits my stone beautifully. I get really excited. I'm going to add this component to a bracelet that I'm building. It's an unusual piece. I haven't soldered yet today, so it's taking me a little bit of time to get this nice and hot. Let me get this pulled all the way to the outside. There we go. See, some of this, it's tacking down nicely. Oops. I don't have this set up in a way where, there we go. Some of this solder has come to the outside. Get this worked down. There we go. I see solder that has worked on some of these areas. So you just want to go in like this area here. You know, maybe I'll actually grab some solder. I should have had some out, but let me grab some medium solder. I put up a new shiny board for you guys so we can all see. So I'm gonna just drop a little bit of medium solder here and go around and use this. I need to put a little bit of flux on here. It looks like it's wet, but it actually is just water. I had to pickle my flux this morning. I've got that nice and hot already, so let's grab, this is pick soldering, so I'm just gonna be able to grab up some of this solder like this and get into maybe this corner right here. So you want to solder on the opposite side. So I'm gonna pull this in here. Let's get a little hotter. This should slip right under. Help tack some of this down. This is an uneven bezel. Deep into an uneven bezel, right guys? There we go. Okay, so this side is tacked down. If I was worried about it, I could, but see, there's enough tacked down on here. See if there's another area. Oh, you know what I want to do is get this little area right there tacked down. So we get some solder. Put it right here. Now, I'm gonna have to push this down a little bit. Get my pliers. And I have to be very careful when you're pushing, when you're literally pushing things, because you don't want it to fall apart. There we go. There we go. Now that's soldered down, so I'm safe. Let's see what else. Let's get this area back here. Just a little bit of extra repair, you know, extra tender work on here to get such an unusual piece up and going. Okay, let's get this here. There we go. It's hot enough now where I can get this worked around. Let me see if there's any other areas. So if there are, see, this area too is going to be a problem because this, that needs to be soldered down. So let's get, oh, I think, wait, maybe this area is soldered down, but let me try it out. Up. Okay, so don't worry. We're using all these scraps here. So if you do have trouble, for one, here's the solder. Let's get this over here. For two. There we go. Up. This is how you do it. I might have to get a whole other piece over there. We'll see. I think this out this way. We'll get it. I'll get it. Now, I don't know if I like this piece anymore. I might get a whole other one, but I love the way it's going right now. So let's see. Maybe I'll finish polishing off this area, get in here like that. That actually would be kind of nice. So it's nice to have extra, it's nice to have these extra pieces around. Oh, I kind of like that string. Let's see if we can get this bent. If I can get this bent, I'm talking in the third person. Okay. Get this snipped. And just do another setup. So that's kind of the beauty of all of this, is that you can just really, it's such a beautiful look. There, love it. Now, okay. Does that look good for the bezel? Yeah, I think it looks good for the bezel. Okay, I just added this piece in here, so I'm going to do a little repair, and you guys will get to see and get it sprayed down. And if I can't get it soldered down, I will just pickle it because it's a little dirty, but I think it'll still work for me. And it cooled off a lot, so let's get in here with the solder. I'll get in here with the solder. I keep talking in the plural. Like we're doing this together, right guys? Yep. Now let me get up and under. There we go. Get this all nice and hot again, heated up. Turn up my heat a little higher. If I stay under, I can do this, especially when I'm working with such a thick gauge. Here we go. There we go. Got that down. Get a little bit more on. I have it hot enough now. Where else do I need? Right in this corner here. There we go. Okay. Get the solder a little closer. Let me get it under. And everything should be secure. I think it's going to be a cool piece. Move the solder a little closer. There we go. Okay. I am happy. I know it looks kind of crazy now, but it's going to look good when it's done because I've got such a pretty gem to fit in there. Nice and tight. It's going to be secure. I'll get it pickled and I'll show you what I'm doing next. And last but not least, I want to show you guys the ring band on how to really do this ring band. This is actually a piece that I have printed. It really is a nice thick gauge for a ring band. I'm thinking this is a 12 or 14 gauge sheet metal that looks really good. So I actually bent this around my ring mandrel to gauge the size. Let me show you. So I have my ring mandrel right here, and I wanted to make, let's see, this is going to end up being about a size 8, which is perfect. When I wear these big rings, I really like them in the middle. So they're centered and have room to spread. So that's the way this one's set up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this with my jeweler saw and then lay this flat, and I'll show you it. Okay, how beautiful is this little section here? You know, you can't judge it right after you put this down. You can't judge it. This has a little bit of copper on it, but it actually is pretty clean. So I'm gonna actually solder this down like this. So everybody must get fluxed. Get everything fluxed. And get out my medium. I'm gonna do medium solder. Why not? It's always medium, like I say, until it's going to be easy or hard. Always medium. We'll just do this. Lay it right on this part. You know, it's like you could do it either way, but whatever way is easier, that's the way you lay your solder down. Get this on pretty strong. Actually, I want to sit this right up against the end of my screen. It always works out best that way. I'll clean the rest of this solder up later. It's always nice to kind of use up some of these when you're on projects where it doesn't matter if it's a hard, easy, or a medium, right? Okay, there we go. And there we go. this in here. There we go. Okay, let me get this piece laid on. I start off with a nice clean table. We don't know what we get in the end. Okay. There we go. Perfect. So I'm just gonna heat from under. I think it's the best way to do it. Heat it from under. See, this piece is actually a little bit too long to try fusing, you know, and plus the fusing to just, you know, the fusing you'd have to do that beautiful fusing that I showed you with the granulation where you literally don't have to, you know, just crunch your piece all the way. But for a large surface like this, you really want to start getting into your soldering. Lift this up a little and make sure everything's getting hot. For a ring band, I really need to make sure that as much of this is hitting the surface as possible. You know, because a ring band, I'm going to need it to stretch in ways that aren't always necessary. But this is going to have to curve. So let's get this nice and hot. I like this little crack right there. It's all looking good to me. Okay, everything's down. You can see I'm gonna have to really take this surface right here and move it, but we'll see. Okay, guys. That's that. I can show you attaching the ring band, but here's the other piece too. This piece, it looks really good. I'm gonna maybe put some granules on here, get it cut out, maybe file down a couple areas that could be dangerous, and I'll show you how this looks when I'm finished. Have fun.